Hi, my name is Kristen Jankiewicz-Schrock. I'm an author and a DMC designer. I've been so excited about using DMC's Color Infusions memory thread to embellish my craft and my needlework. Now, the memory thread isn't a thread in the traditional sense because you don't thread it through a needle or actually stitch with it. Rather, it's a soft, flexible wire that you can bend and shape to add dimension and color to all of your needlepoint. Here are a couple examples of some projects that we've done. As you can see, they look really wonderful on their own. But using the memory thread, we can add some really great detail and dimension, as well as creating some embellishments that just really make the design pop on its own. Not only does the memory thread add an elevation to a two-dimensional project, but it's also wonderful because it can stand on its own. So something like this butterfly can really come to life as a pin. I'm going to show you how I use the memory thread on this needlework project. As you can see, I've already very whimsically outlined some of my flowers. And what's wonderful about something like this is where I have kind of a jagged edge from my half cross stitch here, I can create a really beautiful fluid line that accentuates my design. Now, DMC has made a wonderful, beautiful color range for me to choose from. These are the colors that I used in my flower project. The other great thing is that they all have coordinating threads that I can use to couch down my memory thread. And if you need a cheat sheet like I do, you can check out the DMC website, which will give you a coordinating floss color for every one of your DMC Color Infusions memory threads. For this one, I chose a really cool fuchsia color to make my third flower pop, and I'm going to show you how I did that. I'm going to take my shuttle of memory thread and just very roughly outline with my fingers about how much I'm gonna need. And this is not a fine art at all. You can go back and make sure that you get all of your details right, but I just wanna make sure that I leave some extra memory thread to work with. And I use one pair of scissors to cut the soft fiber wrapped wire. And then I have another one that's specifically designated for my floss. So once I have my memory thread cut, I'm just gonna take a stiletto, because what I want to do is go in and enlarge one of my holes where I'm going to insert the memory thread. This looks like a good place to start. So I'm just going to punch it all the way through, and I like to sort of wiggle it around to make sure that I've got lots of room. Then I'm just going to insert one end of my memory thread, which goes easily through to the back. And I'm going to leave about a 1/2 inch tail. Now, I already have my small embroidery needle threaded with one strand of coordinating floss. And this doesn't have to look great because it's right on the back, but what I'm going to do is just make a couple stitches in order to tack down this tail of my memory thread. And now it'll hold in place. Once I've got that ready, I'm going to flip it back over. And this is where I really start with the detail. The memory thread's so easy to work with. Even if you mess up, you can go back and reshape. Here I've got some kinks in it, so I'm just going to use my stiletto and see how nice and perfect that is to work with. So now I can easily shape this first rounded side of my flower. And I'm just going to kind of hold it down with my finger. And then what you're going to do is simply couch down your memory thread using this strand of floss. You want to get as close to the memory thread as possible because you want this to be hidden. But you really only need a stitch about every 1/4 inch along the way to hold that in place. And as you can see, it's already really bringing out the detail of that flower. One of the things that's really great about this memory thread is that all of it is color fast and fade resistant, as well as acid free. So you never have to worry about adding it to any of your projects because they're all archival quality. You know, this memory thread is so forgiving that it's great because you can make really whimsical patterns like this. This would be good for a beginner or if you're just kind of getting used to the feel of working with the memory thread. But once you feel more confident, you can also get some really great details. And you can embellish all kinds of things from your needlework to scrapbook pages. Now we're just going to end the memory thread the exact same way that we started. I'm going to use my stiletto and make another hole, wiggle it around. I like to do that to make sure that my memory thread end doesn't get caught on my needlework, but if it does, it's really no big deal. That should feed through without a problem. If you're worried about your ends fraying, you can always put a little dab of glue on the end as well, and that'll keep it, but since we've left ourselves so much extra to work with, wasn't a problem for us. Now I'm just going to tack down my tail, as I did in the beginning, with a couple stitches. There we go. And now that was so quick and easy, but it's really durable. You could see that I really handled this and bent it around, but the memory thread really bounces right back to shape. So I'm going to trim with my floss scissors. Going to trim the memory thread away. And now I have my final beautiful flower. It really makes those colors stand out, doesn't it? I hope that this gets you really excited about working with the memory thread and gets the wheels turning about all the possibilities that you have. In addition to this simple outlining technique, we can take it another step further and do three-dimensional projects, as we had mentioned before, as well as some really neat architectural areas. In addition to the wide variety of colors that DMC already offers, I'm very happy to announce that the Color Infusions memory thread is going to expand into even more beautiful colors. You'll want to keep an eye out both on the website and at your local needlework shop.